Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the March of Women. I'm Dr. Julia De Liberti, and I teach humanities at the College of DuPage. I'm here to tell you about Mania Sklodowska. Perhaps you know her better as Marie Curie. So I've got some pictures up here, and I want to tell you about Marie Curie. I'm going to just start traditionally with her biography. She was born in Poland. She had several siblings, two parents, and her mother died when she was young. Both of her parents, though, were educators, and when her mother died, her father was there to raise the children on his own. He took in some boarders as well to help ends meet. Tries to educate everyone. Marie and her sister were these brilliant young women. And when they tried to pursue higher education, they found that the doors to them were closed because they were not men. Her sister goes off to France, and 2 years later, Marie follows. When Marie, who had been training herself or teaching herself or going to a secret school that did accept women, but it had to be in Polish, and it was secret because Poland was under Russian occupation at this time. So Marie goes to France, and she's a little shocked by the rigor and academic the intellectualism and the academic rigor that happens in this formal training. But within 2 years, she catches up and she's able to pursue some research, but she's looking for a space to do it. And at this point, she is introduced to her husband. You can see him in the center top with her. She's introduced to her husband, Pierre Curie, also a scientific mind. He was so taken with the fact that he'd met a woman who could talk about science and physics as he could, that apparently he was smitten from the beginning. She was smitten, but not as soon as he was. They eventually marry, and they have two children together. You can see the two children in the lower right. And they perform scientific research together. Eventually, Pierre Curie abandons his research because he finds what Marie is doing is so much more interesting. In 1903, the Nobel Committee awards the Nobel Prize to Pierre Curie and to a man named Henri Becquerel, on whose research had inspired their own. But Pierre Curie says to the Nobel Committee that Marie is as much a part of the research and science behind their findings as he and Becquerel are, and he refuses to accept the award until they offer it to Marie too. So eventually they do. You will still find today films and video clips and things that suggest that she helped him. She only helped him with her science. And in fact, she was probably the driving force behind the science. He dies in 1906, and so 5 years after that, she's awarded the second Nobel Prize ever given to a woman, and it's in a different field. In 1903, she wins for chemistry. In 1911, she wins for physics. I have reversed those. 1903 is for physics, 1911 for chemistry. Two different disciplines. She's the only person to have won two Nobel Prizes in two different disciplines. The third Nobel Prize given to a woman is given to her daughter, Irene. And you can see Irene is the older child on the bench with her. The research in chemistry was for two elements that Marie and her husband discovered, polonium and radium. And Marie was the first person to use the term radioactive because of the activity she saw in the minerals she and her husband were studying. I'm going to jump around a little bit. You can see her in her lab still, which is still radioactive to this day and will be for about 1,000 more years, they say. She died of cancer, which is no surprise. And we'll talk about that if we have time. Up in the upper right, we've got Marie Curie in one of the X-ray trucks that she got together for during World War One to help the wounded. So she wanted there to be X-rays out on the field to help with medical issues. So she is a force here, and she gathers the sponsors and the finances for these trucks to get them out there. She apparently, the ideas that she suggested and some procedures she proposed are still being used today in terms of cancer treatment and radiation. There's more to say. I'm a little daunted about taking on the topic of talking about Marie Curie. These are, I posted a link in the video. I posted a link in the calendars to some of these short videos, and then these are my sources for that. And I skipped a whole bunch of things, but I'm going to stop.